Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of Talking Toku, Boston and Bellingham's only podcast about Godzilla, Gamera, Ultraman, and all of their kaiju friends. I am your host, David.
I'm Brian, the other guy.
The other guy, just like the hit movie with Will Ferrell and Mark Wahlberg, I think.
Oh, that movie is so unfunny. Oh, it's great.
I remember watching like half of it and not enjoying a single bit, so I stopped watching it. And I have not looked back. Never went back to rewatch it.
The only thing I remember about it is at the beginning of the movie, like The Rock and someone else like jump off a roof and then they die.
Wait, The Rock's in that movie?
I think so, for like a split second.
All right, hold on. Well, now I got to look it up. Just bear with us. We're not even a minute into this podcast and we're already going on a goddamn tangent.
Yeah, The Rock.
What?
Yeah, The Rock's in it. I'm not joking.
Oh my god, so he is.
Yeah, at the beginning of the movie, like The Rock and someone else I'm forgetting, they're like the expert cops, like expert detectives, and then they're like super overconfident. They jump off the roof and then they think they're gonna land in a bush and survive, but they just fall on the pavement and die.
Interesting.
And that's how the movie starts, and that's the only funny bit in the whole movie, in my opinion.
Is watching The Rock die. You know what?
It's just The Rock dying in the first 5 minutes.
I'll take that. I'll take that.
Yeah.
God. Okay.
All right, back on topic here. This is a fucking kaiju podcast.
I know.
Well, I mean, The Rock. You know what?
He is. He
was in Rampage.
He was in Rampage. And he's a kaiju of a man. He has a kaiju of an ego. That's for sure. But
he also has that kaiju of a fucking diet. Have you seen the shit he eats?
Oh, I have.
Well, today we've got one hell of a day aside from The Rock.
Yes.
We have a very fun conversation we're having later.
But yeah, as Brian said, we have a fun topic today, which we'll get to that in due time. Don't you worry. But it's, we took a week off due to some personal issues that I won't get into. But that being said, because we took a bit of a week off, we have a decent amount of big news. So big news, a lot of big news actually. Like most of these are relatively pretty big. So I'll let you take point on this one, Brian. Tell us what's going on in the wonderful world of kaiju.
All right. Well, right off the bat, no pun intended, DC Comics has announced at San Diego Comic-Con, which I had no idea was happening until I heard about some news that came out. That Justice League versus Godzilla versus Kong will hit store shelves beginning in October of this year. From writer Brian. Hey, that's me. Brian, how do you say that last name?
I think it's
Buccellato.
I want to say Buccellato or Buccellato. The double C makes me think Booch, like the CH sound, but I don't know.
Yeah. Well, anyways, from writer Brian Buccellato, known for The Flash, Injustice, Gods Among Us. Artist Christian Deuce, known for I Am Batman, Batman Arkham Origins, and colorist Luis Guerrero, known for The Flash and Batman, the miniseries, will see a rift opening in the DC universe, allowing Godzilla, Kong, and supposedly other Titans to come through and wreak havoc as well. Time will tell what the series will actually be like, but I'm so happy to live in a day and age where we can get cool stuff like this, which, wow, Godzilla fought fucking Marvel and DC.
I know.
That's gotta be a record.
I know. Is there even anyone else who can make that claim to fame that they've taken on both universes? I don't think so.
No. I mean, there's like the amalgam universe between DC and Marvel.
That's true. But they didn't really cross over to anything else. That was just their own thing. Like no other ones came in.
Yeah, that's true.
And we can't.
I don't know.
We can't forget also that Godzilla has also fought the Power Rangers.
Oh my God, that's true.
That was series I think maybe last year or 2 years ago. I can't remember.
I'm pretty sure it was last year.
Yeah, which I did start reading yesterday. It's. I've only read the first issue, but it's pretty solid. But
that's good.
Yeah. It's so wild to me that this is actually a thing, because like a couple days before it got announced, it got leaked, and literally everyone who saw the leaks was like having the exact same reaction. They're like, holy shit, this is actually happening. That's insane. And I think we both had that same reaction too, because like it is insane. The fact that we can get Justice League versus Godzilla in the year of our Lord 2023. That's so crazy, and I'm so excited. I have no idea what we're gonna see in this. I mean, there's that one cover that I think from Jim Lee that has Godzilla fighting Batman and a giant Bat Jaeger, which is,
oh my god,
it's so fucking cool, dude. It's so cool.
Yeah.
And
I did just have a thought about something actually. Like when it comes to this stuff, I think that despite us not really liking the movies, like the MonsterVerse has had a tangible effect of bringing him more, like Godzilla, more into the public conscience.
100%. That is probably the best thing that the MonsterVerse has accomplished, is that Godzilla is now like a more of a pop culture icon than he has ever been. Like obviously he has been throughout his entire, you know, almost 70-year history, because there are so many goddamn parodies and homages to Godzilla in every form of media you can imagine. But like this now is like the time where like everyone really does know who Godzilla is. Like it's inescapable at this point. It is a household name.
I feel like most people knew the name, but a lot of people didn't know what he was about.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that's just my little tangent off topic thought there.
Yeah. The other Titans thing, apparently they said that they can't say who else, but there are going to be other people showing up. So I don't know who that's going to be. Are we?
I mean, I imagine that there's probably going to be some of like the Titans from that you see in like King of the Monsters and stuff.
Dare we say, Brian, Rodan confirmed?
Man, that's an ancient meme right there.
You know, it's funny. I that came up recently too, on like a totally unrelated discussion in the Kaiju United Discord, and I cannot remember what it was for. Maybe it was that. I don't remember. You know what? I have Discord open. I can find out. It might take me a while if the search.
Well, you can just edit later and say if that's what it was about.
Let me see.
Or you can look. It's up to you.
Okay, I found it.
Nice.
Where is it? Oh no, it was about that. It was about that.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yep, never mind. But yeah, Rodan confirmed. We're calling it.
It would be cool. It'd be cool.
Yeah, because he got shafted in King of the Monster. We haven't seen him since. Not even.
He did get shafted.
Not even in the comics.
Speaking of King of the Monsters, I'm actually in the process of watching it with Sam. We had to split it up because I got too annoyed at it, and because it was late.
Okay.
Mainly because it was late.
Gotcha.
We're Preparing for the new Empire, Dave.
You gotta prepare for the new Empire.
We're preparing for it because I'll tell you what, yeah. I'm excited.
All right. Yeah, you sound real excited, Brian.
Don't take my exhaustion for don't take it as exhaustion. It's just I'm so excited for everything.
Anyways, moving on to our next bit of news. Finally, we have a release date for Gamera Rebirth. We got a new trailer just dropped. It confirms that not only is Virus the final kaiju that's going to appear in the upcoming series, also confirms that it'll make its Netflix debut on September 7th. That's like a little over a month away. That's insane. Yeah. Like, I didn't realize. I mean, I guess this got announced like in April, I want to say. It got announced earlier in the year.
Yeah, we did get that like the splash art pretty early.
Yeah, so I guess it's not realistically from its initial announcement. I guess it's a pretty standard.
I'd say it would feel like it, but I just think the marketing's been pretty sparse.
It has been. I feel like now
Netflix is kind of bad at marketing.
Netflix is historically bad at marketing their stuff. But yeah. I hope
Unless
that
it's Stranger Things.
That's true. I hope this does really well though, because I think Kadokawa said that like if this does well, like we might get a new Gamera movie in addition. Like if this does well, which I think is a really bad way to go about this. I don't think you should stake the future of a franchise on a one-off Netflix series that's going to be like
especially a Netflix
5
series.
episodes long. Yeah, especially a Netflix series. So like, I don't think having a new Gamera movie live or die based on this one series is a good idea. We're gonna see. Personally, I don't think it's gonna happen if they're counting on this, because it's not enough people are gonna care about it, which sounds mean spirited, because like obviously people care about Gamera, but the general populace, they know Godzilla obviously, but like not many people know Gamera, which is sad. But I don't think this is what's gonna make people go out and discover Gamera.
Yeah,
or maybe I'm wrong.
I agree. I agree, but I'm gonna keep an open mind. Honestly,
yeah, no.
I think there's definitely capacity for Gamera to break into the mainstream. I just don't like. I don't know whether it's gonna happen with a Netflix show. I don't know, but the trailer, like you and I we talked about it, like it looks really good. Like it does look a lot more high quality than, a lot of the other Netflix animated stuff we've gotten.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that alone could draw in more eyes. I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah. And I got to say, the animation doesn't look as bad as I was expecting it to be. Like, at least with the kaiju stuff. Like, all the humans characters look pretty... They really do look like stock CGI models. But all the monsters themselves look like really high quality and detail. And the animation is, like, really fluid, too. Which
it definitely looked like they put a lot of work and most of their main effort went into making the monsters
all the
look
budget went to animating the kaiju and not the human characters, which is
I hope that the story doesn't take a hit because of that, but I think I trust it. I'm optimistic.
You could still write a good story and have bad visuals. It's possible.
That's true,
but we're gonna find out. I mean, it's from the same guy who did the Polygon trilogy. He's the one directing it, so that could be a good thing, but it could also be a bad thing. But I don't know.
I mean, you and I have like come out and said like,
yeah,
the Polygon trilogy, like I didn't like it, but like I thought the ideas in the world were really cool.
Yeah, but
like,
also
given proper expansion and better writing, like I think they could have really made something out of it.
Of course, the problem with that is that the Polygon trilogy is 3 feature films. Gamera Rebirth is going to be 5 22-minute long episodes.
Oh, damn!
So it's going to be
a lot less time.
I know. Yeah.
Well, you never know. That may work to its benefit.
That's true.
It leaves less time for there to be sloppy writing.
Very true. I mean, I guess we'll see September 7th. That being said, Brian, you now have a deadline to finish the Gamera movies.
I do now have a deadline. I have a little over a month to finish them all.
Which, granted, you don't have that many to get through. I have
one more garbage one.
Yes, and then again, it is mostly uphill from there. Like I told you off recording, it's slightly downhill after Revenge of Iris, but that's only because Iris is such a perfect movie and you can't beat it. Like, yes, Gamera the Brave is a wonderful film, but it doesn't come anywhere close to Revenge of Iris. But everything after Super Monster is very, very good.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, I've heard some things.
Yeah.
All right.
Get on it, Brian.
I will. Moving on. Skull Island, Rise of Kong was revealed, which looks to be a third-person beat-em-up game as Kong himself as you rise up through the food chain on Skull Island. Take your rightful place as king. We only have a short trailer out right now. It looks fine. I'm seeing a lot of people comparing it to The Incredible Hulk Ultimate Destruction, which is a great game. I didn't write this, so Dave thinks it's a great game. I've never played it.
It's a great time. Love it.
That's fingers crossed this ends up being good. We need more good kaiju games. I haven't watched the trailer yet. I kept meaning to, but
I honestly didn't watch the trailer until I wrote this news thing yesterday because I kind of forgot about it.
All the screen grabs I've seen of it, like it looks all right. It looks like a game.
It looks like a game. That's the best that could be said for it. Which sounds mean.
But if it's a good game and that's opening the door for more good kaiju games, like I'm all for it. Like Dawn of the Monsters, awesome game.
Gigabash, awesome game.
Gigabash, also an awesome game. More of that, even maybe some higher production, like maybe AA games. I hate that term. I'm here for it. It just, the more we get with the higher quality, I'm happy about it.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't.
And if it means more games, I'll even try it out. So we'll see.
Yeah, I can't remember if there was a release date for it. I don't think there was. I feel like I would have put it in the news if
might have been hidden in the trailer.
It may have been. Let me look it up.
You come.
No, shut up. It just says fall of this year, so at some point, sometime soon, because we're about to start getting into fall. So, yeah, I guess we'll see. Maybe we'll even review it, or at least put it in our What New Cool Kaiju Thing segment. At the very least, we'll do that. But
yeah.
Anyways.
Wait, would we consider Armored Core to be a kaiju game?
I mean, it's definitely mech, which goes hand in hand with kaiju.
It's kaiju adjacent.
It's kaiju adjacent. So,
ooh,
yeah. If
that means we can finagle ourselves into making an Armored Core 6 review.
We could do that if we really wanted to. We'll see.
Hey, you remember Pacific Rim? You want to know something that's kind of maybe like it and concept only? And by concept only, I mean half of that concept ripped out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why is this like?
All right.
Moving on. Back on the comic book side of things, also from San Diego Comic-Con, ironically, we have details on some upcoming MonsterVerse titles. Godzilla X Kong: The Hunted is going to be a direct tie-in, just like we've had with all the other MonsterVerse titles in the past. We had Godzilla Awakening, Skull Island: The Birth of Kong, Godzilla Aftershock, and both Godzilla Dominion and Kingdom Kong, which I don't think I've read Godzilla Dominion. Actually, I don't think I've read Kingdom Kong yet either. I don't remember. I own them both. Anyways, so yeah, Godzilla X Kong: The Hunted is going to tie in directly, and there's also MonsterVerse Declassified, which is going to just spotlight some of the other Titans who have not really had a chance to shine yet, like Tiamat, Behemoth, and Scylla. I think one of the details was like we're getting an origin story on Behemoth specifically. I don't know if there's anything other.
Good,
details.
People fucking love Behemoth.
I love Behemoth too. He's a cool dude.
He is a cool dude.
Yeah, Tiamat wasn't in the movies, but I think Tiamat was the one that was in Godzilla Dominion. I think, if I'm remembering my Titans correctly. But who knows? So The Hunted is going to be out sometime in February. Declassified, who knows? Couldn't tell you.
I'm looking up Tiamat. Hold on. I just want to see what he looks like. Oh yeah, I don't recognize this guy at all.
Let me see.
Apparently Tiamat is a D&D character too.
Oh yeah, I mean Tiamat's the name of a demon in D&D. Yeah.
No, I have no idea. I have like no knowledge of D&D.
Yeah.
So
well, I think the name Tiamat is like the name of a demon in general.
Oh, gotcha.
I could be wrong though. I don't know. I mean, because I know Tiamat is a boss in Darksiders.
That's random.
She's like a big bat, and she's really cool. Let's see. In Mesopotamian religion, Tiamat is a primordial goddess of the sea.
Oh,
so there you go.
That's pretty sick. I like that. So it's kind of like a sea dragon.
Yeah.
Oh, I had like a bit of an observation with the MonsterVerse stuff.
Okay.
It always feels like it's weird. Like it feels like a movie comes out and then there's like a year period and then a bunch of expanded material comes out and then the next movie comes out and then there's a big wait and then more expanded material comes out. It doesn't feel like it's like a gradual release. It feels like it's in like short bursts, which is like kind of jarring.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I mean, whatever. I guess it's just what they can do.
Wow, Tiamat is basically, looking at the concept art from Dope Pope, Tiamat is basically just the MonsterVerse Manda.
That makes sense. except not gold.
Manda's not gold, Brian.
Manda's kind of gold.
Manda is green.
Oh, maybe I am colorblind.
I think you are.
Or maybe I'm just thinking of the Final Wars Manda, where it looks gold underwater after it goes through the volcano.
Yeah, when
the
it gets
volcano.
super heated. I think that's
Yeah.
what you're thinking of. Manda
I think that is what I'm thinking
is
of.
typically. I think Manda is like grayish in Destroy All Monsters, but in both Atragon, Final Wars, and Singular Point, Manda is green. Wow, fake Manda fan over here.
Yeah, well, I don't really pay attention to Manda all that much.
That's fair.
All right, well, moving on. Second to last story here. Finally, Evangelion 3.0 plus 1.0, Thrice Upon a Time. Fuck that name.
I'd like to hold on. I'd like to point out that Brian specifically asked for this one because he wanted to talk shit about the name. He wanted to cover this news story specifically because he wanted to talk shit about the name.
I don't even care about the 3.0 plus 1.0, but the Thrice Upon a Time, I don't understand it. What does it mean? I've seen the movie. It doesn't mean anything. I don't get it.
Brian, tell me this. Do any of the subtitles for the rebuild films make any sense?
I mean, kind of. You Are Not Alone. You Are Not Alone kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like they're kind of like indicative of the mood of the movie, kind of. But Thrice Upon a Time doesn't make any sense. I don't know. Regardless.
Okay.
Anyways, I'll stop getting mad at it.
Okay.
It's finally getting a physical release here in the US. G-Kids is handling the release like they did for the Neon Genesis Evangelion, and is even putting out a big 4K collector's edition set for it as well. It'll be good to finally have all 4 films. Now you can have an absolutely abysmal time wherever you go. Yeah. The Neon Genesis Evangelion G-Kid set is real awesome. I have the good one. I still got it.
Yeah, you got the limited one with the like original
dub
and subs.
Yep.
Yeah, that was on sale a while ago. I meant to pick it up, but it was on sale, and that's literally the only reason I got it. It was like $100 off. Yeah, which is really good.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't know. I don't have any of the rebuild movies, so maybe it's.
I have all 3 of them, so I'm definitely picking this up. I'm not gonna go for the big 4K collector's set, but
no. I haven't even really like felt the need to buy the rebuilds because I can just watch them on Amazon.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know, like I every once in a while I kind of get the urge to buy them because I see them on being advertised or something.
Yeah, and of course maybe. Physical media forever.
Yeah,
because
do we know what is coming with the collector's edition and stuff, or is it just?
I can look it up.
Because if it's anything like the Neon Genesis Evangelion set, it's gonna be full of shit. It's gonna be full of cool things.
Let's see here. There's a booklet, and there's art cards. It doesn't say what's in the booklet.
Yeah, that sounds about right. In the one for Neon Genesis Evangelion, there's the art cards, there's a booklet, and dude, I don't even know what's in the. You know what? Hold on, I'm gonna go get the booklet. One second.
Right, it's just gonna. Okay. All right, I guess. Wait, what? What even are these? Bonus features: Evangelion 3.0 minus 46 hours, Evangelion 3.0 minus 120 minutes, rebuild of Evangelion 3.0 plus 1.11, current Evangelion. What the fuck are these?
I don't know.
I'm so confused.
Okay, all right, I've got the book. I've got it.
Okay.
Let's actually see what's in this. It is a lot of concept art with information on what the art is of.
Okay.
Which is pretty cool. I'm actually probably going to read this later. Because they have a lot of angel or artwork for the angels that you don't see.
That's cool.
Yeah. Like they have a one with like a much better view of the eighth angel that's in the volcano.
Oh, nice. Yeah, 'cause you don't
Yeah.
really get a good look at him, I don't think.
No, not really. But he looks cool. He looks really weird,
All right,
but I like it. So
I'll take it.
yeah. So I think it'll be good. I might buy it someday. I don't know. I mean, it's probably going to be expensive.
I mean, the standard edition is only $30. The like 4K is 80.
Oh well, I'm not really. I don't want the 4K.
Yeah, I'm not getting the 4K either.
I don't even know how much better the animation would look in 4K.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, speaking of
like,
4K though, I gotta say,
sometimes 4K animation looks bad.
yeah, I haven't seen any animation in like 4K, like at least home video 4K. I should specify because like it's different in a theater. But
Yeah.
I will say though, I did get my 4K copy of Gorgo in yesterday, and I popped it in
Nice.
just to see how it looked. Oh my god, it looks shockingly good. There's a lot of film grain on it, but like the details and the colors are so vibrant. It looks incredible, and I'm shocked of like how good the quality is on this release. Thank God that we have this. This is like you got to get it, Brian. You really got to get it.
I was gonna ask you. So does that mean that I should get it? Because I was kind of waiting for you to let me know how it looks.
It looks fantastic. You
Because I've been burned by bad Blu-ray and 4K releases before. So.
Yeah, but no, definitely pick up Gorgo on 4K. 'Cause
Okay.
it looks so gorgeous. I'm so glad we got such a nice release for it.
I am absolutely gonna now.
Cool.
Because I've never actually seen Gorgo all the way through, at least.
It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. It kind of drags in the first act ish. It's still fun, but it drags a little bit. But once they bring Gorgo back to the mainland, like it is just nonstop, like good shit. This is the
Good.
best, is the most succinct way I can put it. But yeah,
I like that.
definitely go for it. It's gorgeous. All right. Last news segment for the day, and unfortunately, it's a pretty big bummer. Unfortunately, Paul Rubens passed away on July 30th at the age of 70 due to cancer. He apparently kept his diagnosis from the public for 7 years, which is insane. Or is it 6 or 7? Hold on, because he did put out a statement right before he passed, and I'm going to bring that up now because I didn't realize he had put out a statement when I wrote this. So I'm gonna bring this up. Where is it? Please accept my apology for not going public with what I've been facing the last 6 years. I have always felt a huge amount of love and respect from my friends, fans, and supporters. I have loved you all so much and enjoyed making art for you. Paul Rubens. Anyways, he should need no introduction, but
Yeah.
just in case, he was known around the world as Pee Wee Herman. And if you really need us to explain why this is relevant to Tokusatsu, have you seen Pee Wee's Playhouse? That whole set is just one enormous practical effect. Like that's just watch like a clip. You don't even need to watch a full episode to understand what we're getting at here. Just watch a clip and you'll understand. But also there is a huge Godzilla cameo in Pee-wee's Big Adventure, which I only learned yesterday that Pee-wee's Big Adventure predates Pee-wee's Playhouse. I thought it was the other way around, but I learned that yesterday.
I didn't even know that. I just learned that now.
Because I guess he had a show called, it was just the Pee Wee Herman Show, which was like filmed in front of a live studio audience and was slightly more mature humor. Like Pee Wee's Playhouse is aimed at this kind of a younger audience, but the Pee Wee Herman Show seemed like kind of I guess kind of our or maybe high school age audience. Hard to tell because I only watched like one clip of it, but yeah, apparently Big Adventure spawned from that, and then he got the TV show, which that was news to me. I did not know that. But I've
I had no
also
idea.
never seen Pee-wee's Big Adventure, and I'm really fiending to watch it now.
I have also never seen it, so Dave, we should watch it.
I know Jacob Lingle was talking about doing a watch party in the Kaiju United Discord at some point, so you know.
Well, whenever that ends up happening,
Yeah.
hit me up and I'll join.
Yeah, for
as
sure.
long as I'm around.
Yeah, but yeah, this is like a monumental loss for the entire entertainment industry, and I really do think the world is a little less brighter without him in it, and it really sucks. You know, Pee Wee Herman meant a lot to a lot of people, and it really sucks because like 70 is young, like in the grand scheme of things, 70 is young, so it sucks. It really sucks. And to know that he was like kind of he was keeping it from people, like that's also kind of painful. I'm sure that took a toll on him.
Yeah, and it's hard to come out and talk about illnesses, and
yeah, for sure,
especially if you're like a private person, or if you don't like to broadcast your life to the world.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people like that, and yeah, it sucks. But I don't know. I respect it. Like if he just didn't want it.
Oh yeah, no, I respect it too.
Yeah. But yeah, that sucks. I mean, anytime someone with a lot of creative talent, passes away, it's always a huge blow. Sucks.
Yeah.
Like no matter how small the thing that they worked on was, like the world is better for them being there and them putting effort towards something creative than them not doing that.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Because like his whole career, he was like super committed to just making people happy, and that is, you can't do anything better than that.
Yeah. And I honestly had no idea how like absolutely huge of an impact he had until like I was just like scrolling through Instagram and I saw all these like huge people and like big YouTube channels that I follow just like mourning the loss of this guy and saying how much his work made them want to pursue media. And I'm like, holy shit, like I like, just because I don't like I didn't really have knowledge of Pee Wee Herman and stuff. Like obviously I knew about him and I knew about it, but I didn't understand like quite as much. Like insane impact, and he'll be missed.
Yeah. Yeah. So
always hate to leave it on a bummer, but
I know, but this just happened yesterday. This came out, so we had to.
Yeah, it's fresh.
I mean, I suppose Thrice Upon a Time's 4K release also got announced yesterday, so I suppose like we could have moved it around, but this is a bigger one anyways.
Yeah.
Fuck Evangelion. We're Pee Wee Herman's more important. Okay. Cool. Anyways, I think that's it for the news.
Yeah, I don't have any. I don't think anything's happened within the last 24 hours. So
yeah,
I think we're good. When did San Diego Comic-Con end, or is it still going?
I think it. I don't even know. I mean, no one cared about San Diego Comic-Con because of the strikes.
Yeah, that's true.
It literally became an actual comic convention and not just Hollywood the convention.
That's actually kind of awesome. I like that.
No, I know. I'm all for it. Don't get me wrong. Oh yeah, no. Yeah. It was July 23rd was the last day. So.
Oh, I had a feeling it was like a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
But, damn. Okay. That's
yeah.
A lot of news. We're finally done after an hour.
I know. Oh wait, Brian, we forgot something.
What did we forget?
There's a new Godzilla movie coming out.
Oh my God, there is.
How did we forget that? What the fuck? Dude, Joke's on you, audience. We didn't forget it. That's the main topic. Get fucked.
Are you talking about Godzilla X Kong: The New Empire? Dave, we already did an episode on that. What could you possibly be talking about?
Well, Brian, let me tell you. There's another new Godzilla movie coming.
Oh. Yeah. Okay, well, we're talking about Godzilla -1 today.
Yeah, welcome to our main topic. We got you. Yeah. I mean, you saw the title of the episode, so this bit isn't working as well as I'd like it to, but You know
Or
what?
you could name it very ambiguously.
I could. I'll see what I can do about that.
I think
That'd
you
be
should. I
fun.
think you should do that. Yeah. Yeah. So today, talking about Godzilla minus one, how we're feeling about it, our thoughts, and I'm gonna throw in some history in there.
Yeah.
And maybe mind blow some people. Who knows?
Yeah. I knew I wanted to do this, and I knew Brian would have a grand old time because he's a big history buff.
Yes, I love history. It's great. It all sucks, but it's very interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So why don't you kind of lead us in, Brian? Because you did a bunch of little research, which is more than I can say.
Yeah. All right. Well, I mean, we've obviously covered Godzilla minus one before in the news. And in case anyone needs a refresher, this time around, it's being directed and written by Takashi Yamazaki, also known for Always Sunset on 3rd Street and Parasite. In this new movie, the loose plot is Godzilla appears in post-World War II Japan, which is at its low point at 0 and knocks the country down 1 to the negatives, which is a very cool way to express what your plot is going to be without saying what your plot is going to be.
It's really cool. Again, it's really vague, but it's a really cool way to like describe what you're going for with the movie. So
it
totally
also makes the name less confusing, which
it does.
I appreciate. I appreciate that. So we just got a new trailer or I guess more of a teaser. I don't know, a few weeks ago.
30 seconds long, I think.
I don't even remember when we got it. It was a few weeks ago. Or was it last? I don't even remember.
It was July 12th. I remember that because it happened on my girlfriend's birthday. Got it.
Okay. So that got released on July 12th. And, we were able to glean some information out of it, but, it was pretty like just a couple shots.
Mm-hmm.
But we're going to talk about it. So, and I was able to glean a little bit of history out of it, because of how everything looks and how downtrodden everything looks.
Mm-hmm.
So, well, I just wanted to start with just, a little thought I had, and then you can say what you think, Dave.
Give an entire history lesson of Japan. All the way through World War II, and tell us what happened to Japan in World War II, Brian.
Oh my gosh, that's hard. A loose history is that Japan was very, I guess you could say, behind the times, and then the U.S. knocked on the front door and was like, "You're going to trade with us, and you're going to like it." And then the Japanese rapidly modernized and turned into a very militaristic imperialist nation under one man. I don't know if that sounds familiar at all, but that's always what a dictatorship sounds like, except in a different name. Anyways, there's a little history lesson, but not really important to the movie.
Or is it?
Okay.
We don't know.
I mean, it could be. I actually don't know.
Yeah, we have very, very few details.
We really have almost no details. I scoured like the entire internet today looking for a year that this movie takes place in, and I cannot find one.
I feel like I saw 1946 somewhere, but I can't say for sure.
See, I would see, here's the thing that I learned.
Okay.
And I think you may be right. 1946 was collectively known as Year Zero for Japan.
Oh, see? So that makes sense.
Yeah. So, that would make sense, but I'm not going to put my fist down and say that's exactly when it takes place. But, given this information, I made a little bit of a, I connected some dots, and it may not be right. It could take place in the 50s for all I know.
Well, that's the whole point of this episode. We're making predictions and stuff of what may or may not be happening.
Given that this movie potentially takes place immediately after the war ends. This will be the first time we've ever gotten a Godzilla film set before 1954, which, may not sound significant, but it's pretty significant.
It's never happened before.
Because obviously 1954, first Godzilla movie, like that's where it all started. Mm-hmm. So that's like the franchise's origin point. And for obvious reasons, we've never gotten like a prequel to the beginning.
I think the closest thing we've gotten is like a little bit of lore in Singular Point, maybe, but even then I might be misremembering.
I think you're right. I think that the the scientist dude that like maybe died and didn't, but like it was real at the end. I forget his name. He found like the red dust stuff. Like I think he found it.
Yeah, Ashihara.
In like I think he found it in like the 30s. I think.
Yeah, I don't know for sure because it's been a hot minute since I've watched Singular Point. I don't think I've seen it since we did the episode.
No. Anyway, so yeah, this will be the first one set before 54, and that's really interesting because 1954, and this is what I was gonna tell you, Dave, but I decided not to.
Okay.
1954 was the year the JSDF was founded.
Oh.
Japan was entirely demilitarized until then. So if Godzilla attacks, there's no army except for the United States.
Nothing you can do.
There is nothing. The only army nearby is the US, and they are in the process of a very long, terrible, fucking annoying, like, occupation.
Mm-hmm.
So, the Japanese, they're unhappy, obviously, because they have all these Americans around.
Yeah.
And, I think that's really interesting. After the war ended, if you're not into, history and everything, Japan was under heavy occupation by the US. And the US made sure that the nation was entirely demilitarized. Their entire standing army was disbanded. Their generals and their entire command structure was essentially flattened down to be way smaller. And they basically just became advisors for Asia, essentially, for the the U.S. Navy and the forces in the area, and that among other things. Like a lot of people are going to be like, oh well, the U.S. did a lot of stuff like changing the entire form of government and restructuring social norms that had been in place for centuries at that point. So it is an insane time before 1954. It's insane. There's a lot of change going on. It's incredibly interesting and complicated. And for someone like me, that's very exciting. Obviously, again, we don't have a date that this movie takes place in, but I am betting that it's like 1946, maybe the end of 45.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know yet. And, we won't until we see it or we get another trailer. So I don't know. But with that information, what are your thoughts, Dave? What do you think?
Well, I think, and I'm seeing a lot of people talk about this online is, whether or not we're going to see the U.S. military step in this movie. And I've seen some potential. I've seen people talk about leaks. I haven't seen the leaks myself, but like people are being like, oh, like, they're treating the U.S. as like the bad guys in this scenario. And it's like, well, yeah. What did you think they were? How did you think they were gonna treat them in that time period?
Mm-hmm.
Like, what? Yeah.
I do think it's a little bit more complicated than that, than just making the Americans bad.
Yeah, no, I'm sure.
Because, like, I think nowadays, like modern Japan, they're pretty cool with the U.S.
No, they 100% are. But like, so we're talking about this specific time period.
But also this specific time period, people were tired of war.
Mm-hmm.
So, even though it was an incredibly tumultuous time for the Japanese people and their entire society, it's more than just being like, oh yeah, the Americans are bad. Because also the Americans are somewhat providing aid to,
mm-hmm.
Japanese civilians and prisoners of war. so it is very complicated. I do think, I don't know. It is really going to be interesting to see how the Americans are portrayed, if they are portrayed at all.
I think it's too difficult a subject to avoid.
It's also hard for us to talk about it as Americans.
That also true, yeah.
Like, we have a very skewed perception of ourselves, whether it's good or bad.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, it's going to be interesting comparing it to something like Shin Godzilla, which had kind of a similar thing going for it in that, other countries were trying to help them deal with Godzilla, but Japan was they wanted to deal with it themselves, like, because obviously everyone was like, we're just gonna do the nuclear option, like nothing can stop this thing, we need to try something pretty risky to try and do this. So it's gonna be interesting to compare it to something like that, where
this movie almost seems like the opposite.
I know, yeah.
Japan has no combat, no combat potential at all. They're completely disarmed.
Yeah, so I think that's going to be the most interesting thing to see from this movie. I'm again, we have like little to no details on this, so like this is all conjecture, obviously. But I'm just thinking about it makes me like excited for it.
Yeah, I think it's just like, it's very exciting because like we don't get a lot of movies in general set in this time period.
We really don't.
Because it was literally an entire country essentially reforming into something else.
Mm-hmm.
It is an insanely hard thing to cover and do it correctly. But honestly, I don't think there's anyone else who could do it better than the Japanese themselves.
Oh, so yeah, of course.
I think that they'll handle it well, and honestly, they're the only ones that are even equipped to handle this time period. Like, you have American historians, and I don't really trust most of their accounts because it's from an American perspective.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, some other tidbits I picked up from the trailer while doing some historical, I guess, scan. I don't know. I don't really have a word for it. But I rewatched the trailer today, and I did notice some very interesting things.
Okay.
There is a lot of destruction on display in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think Godzilla did most of that. I think that was probably war.
Are we thinking like Hiroshima and Nagasaki, or like the fire bombings?
I'm thinking fire bombings.
Okay.
And conventional bombing raids. Mm-hmm. There is a lot of very suspicious looking rubble. A lot of it looks like impact craters.
Okay.
So, maybe that's just me looking at it and just kind of thinking too hard. But, if that's the case and there is a Godzilla attack in an already bombed out city, like, for one, the visuals of this movie are going to be insane. But like, that is, obviously going to carry with it some very potentially intense images, depending on what they do with that. And if I'm right, because you could very much directly draw a line from what they're portraying with this Godzilla to what happened during the war.
Yeah.
And you could very much put it together easily. Obviously I don't know, but that was like a thought I had. There's definitely destruction that looks like it was Godzilla, but there is a lot that looks like it could have potentially been legitimate fighting. I don't know. Anyways, do we have any plot predictions, Dave? Do you have any ideas? Or do you have anything that you would like to see?
I don't. I'm ready to go, really just go with the flow for this movie, because it's like you said, it's such an interesting time period to set it in. Because like this is, are there like any movies in general set in this time period in Japan? Do we know?
There are a few. but I think a lot of them were like political pieces specifically.
Well, here's the thing. I want to, because like, given the time period, and this may very well end up being a very political film. And
I agree. I think it's going to be very political, and I think it's going to be very divisive here.
Yeah, here's my question. Polygon Trilogy notwithstanding, and Singular Point notwithstanding, because those are animated and they're kind of a totally different thing. The last two films we've gotten from Toho, this and Shin Godzilla, have been very political films.
Yes.
And so what does that mean for all the fans over here in the States who are like, oh, I don't care about themes. I just want big monster battle. Because like people love Shin Godzilla. Most of the fans love Shin Godzilla. And I don't think there's some weird disconnect between the people who like Shin Godzilla and the people who just want the monster battles, because obviously he's the only monster in that film, and it is a very like quote unquote grounded political film, but people still like that. It's a very weird disconnect. And
yeah,
I'm just curious as to how people are going to how I'm sure Japan is going to react fine to it, but
I mean, Shin Godzilla like won awards.
Shin Godzilla won awards in Japan. Yes, I think it won a Japanese Academy Award.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
So, yeah, I'm really interested to see how people are going to react to it here. If it is a very overtly political film, what are fans here in the States going to think? I don't know.
I honestly, I don't know how it can't be.
Yeah, exactly. Like, that's what I'm saying.
It is inherently going to be political based off the time period. You know, obviously, you know, we don't know how much, you know, this movie could take place in, you know, some rural city completely disconnected from Tokyo and all these other heavily occupied places.
I doubt that's going to be the case, obviously.
I doubt it. I doubt it if my, you know, especially if my bombed out city theory is correct.
Yeah.
But I really do think this movie is going to take some stances that some people in the States may have to come to terms with.
Yeah. Which, you know what? You know, good, I say. Good.
I am very like, I understand that time period, hindsight is 2020. But it was really complicated, and you know, both sides had been fighting a fucking brutal conflict for almost 5 years at that point.
Yeah.
And like, you know, I can, you know, I understand wanting to demilitarize a nation and essentially turning them into a mini version of yourself. But at the same time, as someone living now, like, I think that's wrong. Like, the nation should be able to choose its own future and not be, you know, even if you beat them in a war, like, you shouldn't restructure their entire society.
Yeah.
But I don't know. That's a really hard thing to talk about because we're Americans.
You know,
and that's why I think this movie is going to be divisive as shit.
I just had a thought from what you were saying. Maybe Japan somehow, I don't know how they would accomplish this because we haven't seen the movie yet. Maybe Japan does end up dealing with Godzilla on their own without help from the US, and that kind of helps them to push the US out of occupation or something. I don't know. That's kind of a half-baked idea, but
there's one problem with that. They're still technically occupied.
I don't know. I don't know. Again, half-baked idea.
We've literally never left Okinawa, so technically,
I guess that's fair.
You can. I mean, I guess they're not under occupation, but more or less feels like it.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, I would like to see that. I would like to see a post-war downtrodden Japan work up some kind of crazy idea to defeat Godzilla. That would be really, you know, that would be entertaining.
Yeah.
I honestly, I don't know. And I'm honestly more excited about the prospects of exploring this time period than I am about Godzilla himself.
Damn, look at this fucking nerd over here.
I am a huge history nerd. We don't get enough stuff set in this time period. Like, it just doesn't happen. Like, there's a lot of really cool media about post-war Germany, and you know how a lot of cool like a lot of cool like espionage pieces about the Cold War and inside East and West Germany and spies and shit, and that's awesome. But we don't get a whole lot of stuff out of Japan.
No,
not really. We don't really see a whole lot. And I think this is a good opportunity to potentially set off a lot of interest in that time.
Yeah, I know. I agree. And you know what? The best part is, this comes out November 3rd in Japan, and we are getting it here in the States barely a month afterwards. It's coming out December 1st. That's so awesome. I'm so happy that we don't have to wait very long for it. Because
it's insane we're getting a new Godzilla movie this year.
I know. And then less than a year afterwards, we're getting the new Empire, which is crazy.
Yeah.
We're getting two Godzilla movies in the span of 6 months?
Yeah, something like that.
That's
well,
insane.
assuming that the new Empire doesn't get pushed back because of the
that is true. That's very true.
We'll see how that goes. We'll see. They may not be able to afford to push it back.
I mean, if Godzilla versus Kong is anything to go by, they probably don't need professional writers to write this one. Yeah,
you're right. Hey, but if those VFX artists go on strike, you're fucked.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, they're totally fucked.
Yeah, they're screwed. Anyways, going back to main topic here. Speaking of Godzilla, I know you and I have kind of talked about it. What do you think of his design in this movie? But the short little snippets that we see of him, we get a good look at his upper torso. I don't really know what his.
I mean, you can find pictures everywhere because there's a whole ass statue, and
I didn't look at it. I didn't want to.
Okay, and there's figures and everything too. So the full design is out there for the world to see.
I explicitly looked at the images for the movie. I did not want to see the figure because
there's a whole render being used floating around for because they have the design on t-shirts and stuff.
Is that right?
Yeah,
I didn't even see that.
Let me see it. Let me see if I can find it. Hold on. There you go.
Holy shit, he's a big boy.
There's the boy.
He kind of, honestly, lower body really gives me Godzilla Ultima vibes.
It's those really wide hips and the thick thighs that give Ultima vibes. So in general, I think it's fine. I don't love it. I don't hate it. Because here's the thing. This is just a tweaked version of the Godzilla the Ride design, which was also directed by Takashi Yamazaki. Which I don't blame him. He already has a perfectly good design right there. May as well just reuse it. But that design it's basically just the Heisei Godzilla and also the MonsterVerse Godzilla combined into one. It's just the Heisei Godzilla through the lens of the MonsterVerse. So conceptually, I don't think it's a very interesting design. It's good, but it's very safe. Is I guess the best way to put it. I wish they would have done something a little more different. That's why I love Godzilla Ultima, because it's familiar, obviously, because you still gotta have it look like Godzilla, but it's there's nothing really else like Ultima out there, and that's why people really like Shin Godzilla as well, because there's nothing like Shin Godzilla out there either. But -1 is just it's just a very safe design, and that's kind of, and I also don't love how big the spines are. They look a little too big to me.
I kind of like that. I don't know. I think they're goofy.
The best thing I saw was someone compared it to putting a slider on a video game character creator all the way up to max.
Oh yeah, that is very much. Yeah,
that's really that's what it likes. Yeah.
Yeah. But I don't know. Honestly, I see what you're saying. I think I'm gonna hold judgment until I see how it's used in the movie.
Yeah.
Because you can have a not very interesting Godzilla design but if they use it properly in the movie, then
Yeah, that's true. Again, I don't hate the design. I just think it's fine. There
Yeah.
are designs I prefer, but
yeah, I do see what you mean by it looks like Heisei Godzilla because his head is
the
very
head
Heisei.
especially. Yeah,
yeah. That looks like the little frills kind of on the top.
Like just the entire facial structure looks very Heisei inspired. But
Yeah,
no, it looks good, and I'll give it this. I think it's probably the best visualization of like the original designs, like keloid scarring texture we've seen on any Godzilla thus far. I've seen close-ups. You can see close-ups on some of the promotional stuff, and it's like, oh yeah, that's like the best keloid scarring look we've seen on any Godzilla so far. That looks fantastic.
Yeah.
So detail-wise, looks great.
He does look like a pain in the dick to kill.
Yes.
Like he looks very close to indestructible. Which is probably what they were going. Like he looks real. Honestly, he looks like dried lava a little bit. his like skin, or like I guess it looks like a shell, honestly. But
oh yeah,
whatever it is.
Yeah, here's like the big close up where you can like, oh wow, that's a really big picture.
Can you not send it?
No, I can. It's just when I opened it, it was like huge. What is the?
Oh wow!
Oh yeah, this is 1400 by 700.
I'm gonna use this as a background.
Yeah, no, it's really great. Like again, you can really tell that they put a lot of work into the detailing on the skin. It looks phenomenal.
Yeah, it looks real good. Yeah, I see what you mean with your complaints towards it, but I don't know. I want to see how it's in the movie. I also think it's potentially on purpose.
You think so?
I mean, if this movie is as potentially political as we think it's going to be, they may not want to add a crazy new Godzilla design to the pile.
That's fair. I guess that makes sense.
That may be me being a bit of an apologist, but like I would understand if I was put in that situation.
Yeah, because like for example,
if Takashi, he already had his design, and he wrote this movie that is potentially inflammatory towards part of your audience, like, maybe play it safe with the Godzilla design this time. Like we saw how apeshit people went when Shin Godzilla's beam was shown off.
Yeah,
I will always bring this up, and people love that movie now.
I know.
All the complaints evaporated when people saw it.
Yeah, no, yeah. I can see where you're going with that. So if that is the case, I'm all for it. Again, I don't hate the design. I even like the design. I just like others more. But yeah, it's a good design. I'm not complaining. I'm not overtly complaining about it. I'm just excited to see it. And I like that we have yet another Godzilla design that people can love and obsess over for until Kingdom Come.
Yes. Okay. Well, I'm almost getting to the end of everything I wanted to talk about. But I wanted to pose an important question to you.
All right, I'm listening.
And this is more of an overall question to like you and more like what we think the fandom, like how they'll react, like our predictions. Godzilla -1 versus Godzilla X Kong, the new empire. How do you think the overall fan base is going to react to both of these?
That is
really, we're getting them when it comes to movies, we are getting them rapid fire. It's right after the other.
Yeah, because we'll get this in December, and again, strike notwithstanding, we'll get New Empire in March. That's 3 months, 4 months rather. Sorry, so that's not a lot of time in the grand scheme of things. So I don't know, because it really is. Again, we don't have any details on this, but it really is just right off from the bat. Like, it's apples and oranges, man. Two entirely different things. Obviously, it's
true.
both Godzilla, but they are very clearly doing two entirely different takes on that character in both of those movies. So I don't know. It's tough because, you know, I don't even know how to like put this into words. I guess like the wider fandom will probably gravitate towards the new Empire because of the MonsterVerse. We're seeing more people just kind of, and I hate to bring this up again because we do this all the goddamn time. We see people being like, oh yeah, I just like the big monster fights. I don't really care for the overall plot. I'm just here for the spectacle. And obviously those people will gravitate more towards the new Empire than they will -1. But I do think because so many people like Shin Godzilla that this is also going to be very, very successful. And if the rumors I'm hearing are true, that this is not going to be a one-off release, it's not going to be a Fathom Events. Like this is going to be in theaters for like a good chunk of time. I think if that's the case, I think there will be an audience for it 100%.
Yeah, and I agree with you. I think there is the potential for -1 to get a lot more traction than we might otherwise think. Because like for instance, Shin Godzilla, like since Godzilla has become more of a household name and more and more people know about him, I have heard a lot of word of mouth recommendation of Shin Godzilla.
So have
a
I.
lot of it.
Yeah.
And it's like to a very surprising degree, to the degree that I have heard people talk about it in the movie theater during a completely unrelated movie.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, you know what?
And then we heard people talk about Shin Godzilla when we saw Shin Kamen Rider.
Dude,
I heard people talk about Shin Godzilla when I saw Shin Ultraman.
Dude, I'm looking at what's coming out in December. There's like nothing.
This movie is gonna, no pun intended, walk all over it.
Like
the biggest competition.
The biggest things I'm seeing are Wonka and Aquaman 2.
Ugh.
Those are the only like big things I'm seeing that are coming out in December.
There's no chance that they're gonna do better than Godzilla.
I mean, I don't know about that.
I don't know. Both those movies, they did not look good.
Aquaman made $1 billion, Brian.
Well, Aquaman, I actually don't know about, but I saw the trailer for Wonka, and boy, that looked bad.
I disagree. I think Wonka looks delightful because it's from the same guy who directed Paddington 1 and 2. So I think it's gonna be good.
That's fair. All right. Well, I guess I did also judge the trailer for Haunted Mansion pretty harshly, and I just saw it, and I actually loved it a lot. So
fuck you, Brian.
You're right. Maybe I'm judging too much, but also that's like 2 movies in the whole month versus this.
Yeah.
Like there's enough room for 3 of them.
Because like the only 2 movies other than those that I recognize are going straight to Netflix. They're not going to be in theaters. It's Chicken Run 2 and Rebel Moon, which is Zack Snyder's not Star Wars movie.
I'm actually very excited for Chicken Run 2.
I'm excited for both those movies because Rebel Moon actually looks really cool. But
all right.
Yeah, I think like with that little competition, I think if it does get a wider release, that it could do pretty well.
I think so.
Which I really hope it does. I would love to see a Japanese Godzilla film do really well at the box office in the States.
It'd be a really like this is just like a weird like pipe dream.
Mm-hmm.
You know how we said that Godzilla was going to like absolutely break into the mainstream 100% after Godzilla King of the Monsters came out?
Mm-hmm.
It would be really funny if this movie was the one to do it.
Yeah. If it is, I would be more than happy. Because like this, again, we just talked about it for like 45 minutes. Like this has the potential to be one of the more like thematically interesting films in the franchise.
Yeah.
And if this is what makes people like pay more attention to the franchise as a whole, that I see nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. Like it's exciting because one of the main criticisms I see all the time of Godzilla movies is it's the same thing over and over again. The Godzilla shows up, another monster shows up, then the people try to figure out how to do it. And like obviously like you and I we're all in. Like it doesn't matter what the structure of the movie is, we'll watch it and we'll like it. But like I feel like this has the potential to really address those criticisms because they are kind of valid.
Yeah.
You know, like I'm not going to disagree if someone thinks that. But you know, this time period, they had no command. They had no army. They had nothing. It's just people. So that could address that one particular, complaint from people.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's a lot of ways that this movie could go down as one of the best. Or at least the one that really, really drives Godzilla into the minds of the masses.
Yeah.
I am very excited. I mean, obviously, everyone here knows my answer. Godzilla -1 all the way.
Yeah, 100%.
Like I love interesting movies that have something to say. And from the 30-second trailer, it looks like this movie has something it wants to say. So I'm excited.
I'm gonna say one more thing, and I know I'm not gonna get my wish. But Toho, for the love of God, give him a new roar. I'm so tired of every Godzilla from ever since 2014. Every Godzilla incarnation we've gotten has just been recycled roars, and I'm sick of it. I want to hear a new version of the roar. I don't want to hear a mixture of the 84 and the Millennium roar. Yeah, it sounds cool, but I want something different. You gotta
break out the resin, break out the glove.
You know it.
You gotta do it.
There's a reason I love the MonsterVerse Godzilla roar so much is because it's new and fresh and it sounds cool. I want another new roar that sounds fresh and cool. But the trailer had an edited version of the 54 roar. So I don't think I'm gonna get that wish, but I can dream.
I'm hoping that that's a placeholder, but
I hope it is too. I hope it is too.
I don't know. We'll see. I mean, you know, there's the possibility. Like, it seems like if someone wants to do something with these movies, they'll do it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it seems like the directors tend to get a lot of freedom.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I would like to think that maybe, you know, Takashi is like, sure, let's do the new roar. Do it. Because I want that. You want that. I'm pretty sure most people want that.
Yeah.
I don't know. Most people who know about it want that.
You know what I just thought
a lot of people don't know the differences, but yeah.
You know what I just thought of that we hadn't even considered?
What?
Who's doing the music for this movie?
Oh, I don't know. It wasn't listed anywhere. I was looking for it and I couldn't find it.
Everyone listening, you guys know how important the music in these movies is to us. So like, I would really, I need to know. I need to know who's the composer for this movie because I want to know what's gonna happen here. Because I'm
just searching it again just to see if maybe I missed something, but I'm not finding it. The question
is, let's see who. Let's just go for Always Sunset. Who did the music for that?
For what?
For Always Sunset.
Oh,
okay. So the person who did Always Sunset also did the music for Parasite that Takashi also did. So
there is a good chance it's that
Naoki
person.
Sato.
Okay.
He composed the music for victory ceremonies at the 2020 Olympic Games in Tokyo. Actually,
it's funny because fucking Takashi Yamazaki was contracted to film it and edit the Olympics.
Wait, what?
In Tokyo. Yeah.
Okay.
That was actually a piece of trivia I was gonna. I completely forgot about.
All right. Well, okay. So there's probably a good chance it's going to be Naoki Sato.
Yeah, very, very good chance that it's gonna be.
I'll take it.
Yeah, actually, let me just go double check and make sure I'm not talking out of my ass right here. Where are you? Yeah, yeah. Takashi was hired to film and promote the 2020 Tokyo Olympics.
Well, there we go.
Yeah,
There's a very good chance it'll be Naoki Sato. Don't take our word for it, obviously, but that's just us, guessing on this.
yeah. I mean, this
so
whole episode has been guesses.
Naoki Sato also did the music for Godzilla the Ride, so I'm almost willing to put money down on that. That's gonna be who's the composer.
Now that you mentioned it, I'm willing to put money on that too.
Yeah.
Yeah. It does seem like with Japanese media, the composer usually sticks with the director.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of people. I mean, Steven Spielberg. How many times has he worked with John Williams?
That's true. That's true. Yeah. So that's all. I mean, that's all I had to talk about with Godzilla minus one. Obviously, I just want to reiterate a lot of this was complete guesswork.
Yeah, 100%. That's that was the whole point of us doing this, was just us kind of spitballing to see what we may or may not see in this film, because we did that with The New Empire. And honestly, I think we're both, obviously, we already, not even I think, we literally just said it 2 seconds ago. We're both a lot more interested in this one, so I think this ended up being a lot better than our guesswork episode for The New Empire. But,
Well, the state that they left the MonsterVerse in after Godzilla vs. Kong was it's very hard to guess where it's going.
That's true.
So
that is true.
So
I guess this is more of a clean slate kind of thing. There's nothing to go on previous work. So
yeah. So yeah, I mean, if you guys have any theories, especially if you're a fellow history nerd, please let us know.
Yeah.
Because I would love to talk about this shit with people. It's going to be very interesting seeing this movie, and it's going to be doubly interesting seeing people's reactions to it.
I can't wait for our review episode of this movie to be like 2.5 hours
it's
long.
Gonna be,
because you're just going so hard on the history connections.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my God.
I'm not even.
Also, you know what? Another thing I just thought about.
Oh my God.
1946 is the year that the Emperor of Japan renounced his deity status. He basically said, "I am not a god."
Okay.
That could play into it potentially. I don't know. Maybe symbolically. I don't know.
Maybe he's like, "Oh yeah, I am a god," and then Godzilla shows up and like, "Fuck no, I'm not. I'm sorry." I don't know. That's just
that would be so stupid.
It would be stupid. It'd be funny though.
So guys, I hate to tell you this, but I'm actually not a deity.
I can't do shit
Godzilla
about
comes
this.
up from the water. And he just 1,000 yards stares the Emperor.
Yeah. It's like, I can't do shit about this. Sorry guys. It was just a funny prank.
Yeah. Sorry guys, I can't. Oh my God. What if in this movie he renounces his status because he sees Godzilla and people look for him for an answer?
I could see that being the case. I could really see that happening.
It may undercut the historical significance of that, but man, that would be interesting. Man, I don't know. I'm so fucking psyched, dude. I'm so psyched.
I can tell. Well,
I wish you could see in my face. I have this huge fucking grin on my face right now.
I can hear it in your voice, Brian.
Yeah. Oh, it's gonna be so good.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, I think that about wraps it up for our little prediction for Godzilla minus one. Again, we don't have to wait very long for this.
No.
What, 4 months? Right? Am I doing the math right on that?
Yeah, 4 months.
Yeah.
Exactly 4 months.
Oh yeah, exactly 4 months. August 1st. That's right. So come back around that time, and we'll have a review for you.
If you're an infrequent listener, should come back in 4 months' time.
Yeah, or if you're an infrequent listener, just keep with the show and keep listening. We have other cool stuff. We have other cool episodes we're gonna be doing.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what. I mean, I know what we're doing next week, and we'll get to that, but we'll have other cool stuff in between, I'm sure.
Goddamn right.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, let's move on to our next and final segment. I almost said last and final segment, but I stopped myself, thankfully. Not doing that again. What new cool kaiju thing are you checking out right now? Brian, is there new cool kaiju stuff you're checking out?
I'm seeing a movie on Thursday that I don't know if I want to say because it has to do with the next episode.
Yeah, okay, we'll talk about that. But like, have you checked anything out since we last recorded?
Let me think. Not really. I did try a super awesome Ultraman drink in Seattle.
Oh, that's right. You told me about that. You can talk about that. That's a kaiju thing you checked out.
It is. My wonderful girlfriend and I, and also our number one fan. We took a day trip down to Seattle, went to the aquarium, saw some cool shit, and then we went to this cool like Asian supermarket in the International District, and I found an Ultraman drink, and it was like a sweet like strawberry yogurt drink, and it was fucking great, really good. I actually wish I bought more.
Time to go back, Brian.
Yeah. But next time I'm down there, I'm gonna go. I don't care how late it is. I'm gonna go get one. And I think that's it. I haven't really been doing a whole lot. Let me think. No, not really anything.
All right. Well, I got some stuff I can talk about briefly. It's not super kaiju related, but there's big monsters in it. I watched The Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers. It's so far still my least favorite of the trilogy, but
that's what I always hear people say.
It's weird though, because like
their least favorite.
So far, the book has been my favorite, but the movie's my least favorite. It's very strange.
Are you watching the theatrical or the?
So I'm watching the theatrical because when I first tried watching them back in high school, I watched the extended cuts and I watched The Two Towers and was so bored to tears that I never even did the third one. So I'm like, dude, I'm gonna just do the theatrical.
Lord of the Rings fans, they're so bad at being fans and showing stuff to other people because what they do is like, we're gonna binge every Lord of the Rings right now and it's gonna be the extended cut, and then you're like, I don't want to watch 9 hours of movie.
I mean, I want to do that eventually, like later, maybe like next year or something, because like I'm the next book I'm going to be reading is The Return of the King, and then I'll watch the theatrical cut of that, and then at some point in the future, I want to do all 3 in a row because I know that's the thing to do. So
I mean, I did it. It's tiring.
I know it is. I'm sure it's tiring. I'm gonna have to like set aside a whole day. Early. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But more on the actual kaiju and tokusatsu side, I watched The Human Vapor recently, which is the last of Toho's Transforming Human set. I still think Secret of the Telegion is my favorite, but The Human Vapor is definitely a close second. If any of you have not seen the Transforming Human films from Toho, highly recommend. They're all really, really good. They all have this really great, like kind of eerie atmosphere. Brian, you actually would really love the Transforming Humans movies. They are right up your alley.
Okay.
You might be
in horror or like just weird.
They're kind of thriller. They're horror adjacent. But they're more in the vein of the Human Vapor is about this guy who can turn into vapor, and he uses that ability to rob banks.
That's fucking sick.
Yeah, but again,
I like that.
Yeah, all the Transforming Human stuff are phenomenal. I really think you would like them. So it's the H-Man, Secret of the Telegion, and Human Vapor are the, and I apparently what is it? It's one of the many Japanese Invisible Man films. I can't remember which one though. Let's see. Is it The Invisible Man Appears? I think it's The Invisible Man Appears, I believe. Oh wait, no, this is Daes. That's not the right one. Hold on.
Goddamn, though, The Invisible Man by
Okay, no,
Leonello.
it's just called Invisible Man. Never mind.
Yeah,
so that is technically, it's kind of considered a Transforming Humans film, but like the capital the Transforming Human films are just those three. And I haven't actually seen Invisible Man yet, even though I own it. But there's that. It's really not kaiju, but I'm willing to consider it tokusatsu. And this is something you also saw, Brian. Barbie.
Yes. Actually, the sets. Okay, if any of you haven't seen Barbie, which I find exceedingly improbable.
Yeah, most likely.
The sets in that movie are insane. They're insane.
They're
I don't think anything. I don't think anything has ever been done like that.
I saw like a very short behind the scenes bit, and it was like they were just talking about like just how complex all those sets were. But yeah, it was so cool. I mean,
I am really interested in how they put it all together.
I hope like the physical release has like a really good behind the scenes featurette on it, because I would love to see it.
If they do, I'm buying it.
Oh, 100. I'm probably gonna buy it no matter what.
Yeah, like just wow.
Yeah, very impressive stuff.
Yeah.
Back on the more actual kaiju tokusatsu side, I finally rewatched The Beast from 20,000 Fathoms recently, and my God, that held up way better than I thought. And to be fair, I knew it held up really well, but I didn't know exactly how well it held up. Like, there are some shots in that, like effects shots, of course, that like they do really look very real, because the stop motion is just so fluidly animated. It's really impressive, and I was not giving Ray Harryhausen enough credit, apparently. If you
That's why we need stop motion back.
I know, and the movie just turned 70 this year too. So good for Beast.
Last time I watched Beast from 20,000 Fathoms was like with my aunt, so. I should probably rewatch it.
Yeah, it's real good. I love it. And then This is not really kaiju, but I'm gonna talk about it anyways. Just earlier today, I watched Jaws 2. For what I thought was the second time, but apparently not, because nothing in the movie looked familiar to me. So I don't know what movie I did see, because I had. Again, had past tense a very clear memory in my head of sitting down in my living room, eating a peanut butter and fluff sandwich, and watching Jaws 2. But apparently I was not watching Jaws 2, because none of it looked familiar when I watched it today. So I really don't know.
Maybe you were watching Jaws: The Revenge.
I don't know. That's what someone else told me. So it's going to be interesting to see when I actually do watch those movies.
It's the Jaws movie where the shark roars like a lion.
Oh, God. I don't remember. Anyways, Jaws 2, yeah, it exists. It's a movie.
Pretty bad.
Yeah. I actually wrote...
I love the effect when he breaks through the glass.
That's in Jaws 3.
No.
What?
Jaws 2 was Jaws... Oh, wait, no. Oh, my God.
That was 3D, remember? Yeah.
Oh, my God, you're right.
That was Jaws 3D.
Wow, Jaws 2 really is that forgettable.
Right? It's not even that forgettable. It's just that, like, I mean,
it's
obviously
more the same shit.
It is. Like, obviously it was going to be a monumental task to follow up how perfect of a movie the original Jaws is. But I don't know. It's just Steven Spielberg's not directing it, and so all the charm is kind of gone. It's not really a Hitchcock-inspired thriller anymore. It's just kind of a by-the-numbers monster movie at this point, which I guess if you were going to make a sequel to Jaws, you can't just do the same thing anyways. But, like, none of the characters are as memorable in this movie. Yeah. Like, there's no Quint, there's no Hooper, which are like some of the most fun characters to watch on screen. I mean, Roy Scheider's back as Brody, and he's probably what makes the movie any semblance of good.
Do you know that he, like, during the entire filming, he was so pissed off that he was there?
Oh, I know. I'm well aware. But Credit where credit's due. He still gave it his all. Like he still did a good job in the movie, I think. But like all the characters now are like dumb teenagers, so it just feels like a cheesy horror movie, and it's not all that interesting.
Oh, Jaws 2 is the one where they're like stranded out on like a bunch of boats, and they like make like a kind of like a flotilla kind of thing. Yeah. Okay. That movie bored me to tears.
Yeah, I try my best. I'm usually pretty good at like not looking at my phone when I'm watching a movie, but it was rough. Jaws 2 was rough. I kind of like I can't.
It's a bad sign when you can't help yourself.
Yeah. But it was so.
I actually did just think of another thing that I checked out.
Go for it.
But, it is not strictly kaiju related.
Brian, we just talked about Barbie.
Assuming that we're following the same logic,
I know. Are you going where I think you're going?
For the first time in my life, I watched The Road to El Dorado.
Oh, okay.
With my wonderful girlfriend, which is a movie she loved growing up, and I watched it because I never saw it.
Mm-hmm.
There's a giant panther in it.
Is there?
There is a giant stone possessed panther in it.
Oh, that's cool.
And it immediately dies.
Okay.
But you could say it's a kaiju. But wow, that movie is weird.
Okay.
It's weird. Very, very overtly sexual, which is weird for a movie that looks like it does.
You say that like it's a bad thing, Brian.
It just was unexpected. It just took me by surprise.
All right.
I mean, it shouldn't have, because I had knowledge of who Chell was before. But
right.
In the context of the movie, I'm like, wow, it knows exactly what it's doing. Wow. Okay. But yeah, so that's the other thing. But the big stone jaguar was pretty cool.
Okay.
Let me see if I can find a picture of it for you.
Yeah, please.
All right, here you go, Dave.
Oh, that is cool. Holy shit.
Yeah. It looks a lot like a like something out of fucking Power Rangers.
It does, kind of. I love it.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what it kind of reminds me of?
What?
It almost reminds me of the Brad X's.
Oh my god, you're right.
Just a little bit.
You're so right.
Just with how like streamlined all the angles are. Like it's just a very like I don't know how to put it into words. But
overly smooth and weird.
Overly smooth and weird. That's a good way of putting it.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's all I've been checking.
All right, cool.
I wanted to add that just so I can talk about how weird that movie is.
All right. But I think that about does it for this episode of Talking Toku. Thank you all for listening. And once again, I'm sorry we took a week off, but it was very important, believe me, that we took a week off.
It was very important.
But normally we'd reset our schedule and we'd take next week off before coming back the week after, but we can't do that this week, Brian. It's the next episode is just too important to give it another week because
you guys know what it is.
If you guys don't know what it is, first off, shame on you. But secondly, this Friday, when this episode goes up, is the release date for Meg 2: The Trench. So you fucking know what we're doing next week. We are covering Meg 2.
Not even though I'm seeing an advanced screening of it.
Yeah, well, yeah, you're so high and mighty. But the official release date is August 4th, Brian. So there. So yeah, I hope you guys are all ready for that. I've also been given the go ahead to review it for Kaiji United. That might go up before our episode on it goes up. There's a good chance it will. So I'll probably post that on the socials as well. But yeah, Meg 2: The Trench, baby. There's like a 99.9% chance that our good pal Siobhan will come back on to talk about that with us. So I hope you all are ready for round 2 of Meg Monday.
I feel like we could just promote her to like part-time co-host.
Honestly, at this point, yeah, because like I'm willing to bet anytime we do a review episode, she'll probably come on.
Yeah.
Like I that's yeah. I think that's gonna just end up being the case. So
Yeah.
we'll tell her that when she's on next week.
Yeah.
All right.
But as for you guys, fucking stay tuned.
Yeah.
Because it's going to be awesome. And the rest of this year is going to be awesome.
For sure. So look forward to our review of Meg 2 The Trench next week. I'm really excited to talk about it, especially considering I have now read the book. I don't think anyone else is going to have read the book by the time we review the movie, which
I was planning on it, but your review of it made me not want to read it.
I didn't even give a review for it, and I ended up liking it in the grand scheme of things.
Well, I don't know, all the things you were telling me about
there's some very weird things in it, but like overall it's good.
Okay. Well, maybe I'll listen to it through an audio while I'm working.
All right.
We'll see.
But yeah, I'll be able to talk about the connections or lack thereof, because let me tell you, judging by the trailer and the fact that I've read the book, there seems to be almost nothing connecting the two different versions of the trench. They seem like they're entirely different, which I'm shocked because I didn't think you could get further away from the source material than the first Meg. God, who knows? Anyways, yeah, stay tuned for that next week. In the meantime, you can go follow us on Facebook and I almost said Twitter, but it's not. I guess it's not Twitter anymore, is it, Brian?
It's X.
It's X, but you know what? Fuck that. I'm still calling it Twitter. Sorry, Elon. You can go fuck yourself. I don't care.
Yeah. Elon sucks.
Yeah. I honestly, I was considering like just deleting the Twitter at this point, because like I can't stand it. I can't stand Elon. I don't want to continue supporting him by being on the platform. I don't know if I'm getting.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I guess if it was my personal account, I don't really use my personal account anyways. I just browse. I don't post anything. But I don't know. I guess maybe it's better to like have some outreach, some like just outreach like people can reach us at, I guess. I don't know. I'll think about it. But anyways, find us on...
I mean, Instagram's the best one.
It is, yeah. So find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and YouTube, all at Talking Toku. You can join the Kaiju United Facebook page and Discord server, which... Hey, the Discord server has been popping off recently. A bunch of people joined after G-Fest, and we had this huge voice call the other day. There was like 9 people in there, and we were all playing the Discord mini golf game, and it was a great time. I just a blast. So if you join us there, I'll take a look at the front page, see what's going on. There is a Jacob's friend of the show, Jacob Lingle's coverage of G-Fest is still up. There's a book spotlight on Kaiju Time Slip, which looks kind of neat. And also, friend of the show, Donnie Winter, has had a bunch of his poems going up on Kaiju United, and this one just went up today. It's called Yuhara. It's about Dr. Yuhara from Godzilla against Mechagodzilla. So go check all those out. And I guess we'll see you next week for Meg Monday, even though it will be on Friday for you guys, but it'll be Monday for us.
Yes.
Yeah.
I tried to think of something Friday, but I couldn't think of anything.
Fat Shark Friday. That's the best I got.
Fucking huge shark. Fucking huge shark Friday. That's mine. All right, well, whatever you guys want to call it, we'll see you Friday.
Yeah, all right, bye.
Bye.